Welcome back to the channel, and today I have something a little different for y'all, being that we're really close to Christmas time and you might be looking for a Christmas gift for your dad, your brother, maybe even your mom, and you're kind of stumped because they have everything. Well, if they happen to be into knives or EDC gear, watches, coins, even sunglasses now, then you may be interested in this product. So what we have right here is the Holme and Hadfield Armada. And this particular case is their largest case so far in their lineup. And of course that means it's going to be the most expensive. But this thing is, they're calling it the Rolls Royce of display cases, and I gotta agree. Before this case, I had a valet tray from Caviso, and it was okay. But when it comes to comparing the Caviso case with the Holme and Hadfield case, it's night and day difference as far as quality. And I'm going to tell you right now, that Caviso display case, my wife would not let me put it on my nightstand or anywhere where our company could see it. She didn't like the way it looked. She thought it looked tacky. Well, as soon as I opened this up, my wife said, now you can put that in your room. So this right here is wife approved, at least mine. So let's kind of go over it. It's a larger case. The dimensions on it are 18 from here to here, 10.8 inches from the back to the front, and 10.8 inches from the top to the bottom. So it's going to take up quite a bit of space. You know, I could put it on my nightstand if I wanted to, but it's either going to go on my bathroom counter or maybe even my knife room that I got. This thing weighs a whopping 27 pounds, but what's good about that is you don't have to worry about tipping over. The Armada has 2 large drawers, and the top holds 9 different knives, as you can see there. There's 2 different colors in the Armada. You can get it in this walnut, or you can also get it in black. Walnut goes better with the furniture that I will be putting it next to, and that also was approved by the wife. On the Armada, you have a nice acrylic top on it, so you can see into it. You can actually display 9 knives to where, you know, if you want to show them off to your friends or whoever you want to show them to. And what's cool about this one is they've added feature where you can open the lid on this. It's got hinges on the back, and if you want, you can take this off completely. Besides being able to display the knives easily, it keeps the knives free of dust. Each one of those stands are wood pillars that the knives sit on, and they can fit a pretty wide knife. My Demco 8020 has got original goat titanium scales on it, plus this Pops custom clip. It's pretty darn wide, and it has room to fit in there pretty darn good. And you know, all these at the top are rather thick and they fit nicely, and some of them are kind of big. The Koenig Arius is a big knife and it fits in there fine. Each one of these pillars is felt lined, so you're not going to scratch anything. The lining goes up the sides and on the bottom, so it holds it nicely. They don't slide around. Now if you're going to move this, then yeah, you might want to take the knives out so they don't go sliding. And then it's like a stadium style setup where this back shelf is raised up a little bit so you can see both of them if you're looking straight ahead at it. Like I said, the Armada has 2 drawers in it, nice sized drawers, and these 2 bottom drawers have the capacity to hold an extra 30 to 40 something knives. You could even put more depending on how thick the knives are. So the bottom one has smaller separation. These drawers are nice and smooth because they have a metal track system, and I'm guessing it has the bearing tracks in there because it's very smooth, even with the heavier weight of all the knives in these drawers. The drawers extend out 9.5 inches. You can hold 18 different knives at the bottom if you want to sit them flat. If they were thin enough and you wanted to sit them up like that, you could possibly fit 1 or 2 more, depending if they're as thin as this Spyderco is. But these are my nicer knives, so I don't want them clanking up against other knives if I can help it. And the little dividers, they're strong enough. I do wish that they had little slots to where you could move this whatever direction you want, because some of the knives that I was going to put in here, they wouldn't fit because they were a little bit too long. Now it fits majority of knives. I mean, this arc form is probably the max as far as the handle length will fit. I'm not sure if I remember to look up the length on this, I will, but that's about the max. And if you're laying them down, I usually go clip up so you got something to grab a hold to, because if not, it's kind of hard to fish it out. But definitely nice, and they're going to stay pretty much dust free as well because they're going to be closed up. It has the little stop point right here, and then you got to push it past. It's kind of like a little lock there. One thing that I did notice, I'm sure once it'll break in, it's going to be a lot easier for me, but especially with my hands, these little drawer pullers right here aren't super easy for me to pull. And I think it's just because the little, locking point it has. I'm sure once it's broken in, once I've opened and closed it a good bit, it'll be a lot easier. I made this top drawer my EDC drawer, pretty much full of my EDC gear. Yeah, I know. This is a review channel. I got a lot of EDC gear, and you can put 5 fixed blades in here if you wanted to, or you could put 2 knives or your longer knives in here if you wanted to, as long as they fit in between here. It's an excellent way to sort out your flashlights. Like I got my EDC flashlights here. I got my favorite EDC pins right here. I got some pry bars in here. Some of my Zippos, my channel Zippo that was gifted to me. Some box cutters. And on this side, it's a big open portion. The bottom of these are all felt lined, and the dividers are wood. You can either put more fixed blades in here if you want to. EDC fixed blades would be great in here, and that's what I had originally went with. But I think this is the setup I'm going to stay with for a little bit at least. Now, I do realize that this case is probably too big for, the majority of the people watching this video. But if not, I'm going to say, do I think it's worth it? Yeah, I definitely think it's worth it. No doubt about it. It's very, very solid. The craftsmanship on it is top notch. There was no gaps anywhere, nothing loose. Everything looks good. All this was nice and clean. And I mean, of course, it's going to get dirty. It's going to get dusty. Now, the acrylic, one cool thing about using the acrylic for the top right here is that it doesn't take fingerprints as bad as, say, plexiglass and regular glass. I think it was a good choice for this. Now, being that this is acrylic and you have acrylic hinges on the back right here, you definitely want to be careful when you lift this. You're not going to want to slam it up, because you would crack these. Because when it's up, it does flex a little bit. I'm talking about the hinges on the very back. When it is up, it does flex a little bit. I'm not worried about it, and I can let go. I usually lightly let it go and see it's rocking right now. And when I put it down, I got it all the way to the bottom. If you didn't want to use this little spot, you could completely remove this. That's how they used to come. But I think this is the cream of the crop when it comes to display cases. Now, you have a good product when you have 9 billion companies knocking your product off. Since Holme and Hadfield has started their company, I would say probably last year or so, I started noticing a lot of people knocking their design off. There's probably 10 or 15 different companies. Everything else I love. My only 2 nitpicks on the whole entire display case. I wish these were a little bit easier to grab. They're a little small, and I guess until I break in this, it's a little harder for me to pull out. Probably not a problem for the average person, but for my fingers, it's a little bit harder to pull. And also, the other thing I was discussing is this acrylic, being that it comes open, there's a little bitty slot right here that you could put your finger in there, but for me, I have to put my fingernail in there to get it. You could grab the sides of it, but repeated grabbing the sides of that is going to eventually, get fingerprints. But I wish this was a little bit easier to pull open right here. Other than that, I love this one. Like I said, this is going to be probably too big for most people, and there's some other options available that are pretty darn awesome, and they have other setups as far as not just knives. So I definitely think they're hitting a cool part of the market, at least for me especially. I mean, I'm a knife reviewer, so this really makes sense. I have a passion for knives and gear, so this holds them very, very nicely. I could set this up in so many different manners, and I'm sure this will not be the final form that it stays in. But definitely, I think it's definitely well made, definitely something I could recommend, and I'm sure this won't be the last one I get. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I will have links down in the description if you're interested in this one or any of the other ones on their site. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one.